We give you 90 minutes of racing fun today on Speedway Showcase. In this episode, we travel north to the Ohsweken Speedway, where the field is filled with great names, including some drivers pulling double duty in multiple divisions. Who's going to come out with the top prizes in the Triple Crown Showdown? Find out next on Speedway Showcase.
It's unseasonably cool here tonight in southern Ontario, but the racing action is sure to heat things up here tonight on Speedway Showcase. Hello everyone, my name is Rich Fleck and welcome to the Ohsweken Speedway, one of the gems of the dirt racing world, where tonight the Triple Crown Showdown hits the grounds, featuring the big block modified Super DIRTcar series, the Go Nuclear late models, and the weekly 360 sprints that grace the Big O each and every Friday night. This show features some extra money that is built in if drivers can win more than just one feature here tonight. And for more on that, let's go over to the pits and the third man of our team, Paul Small.
The pit area tonight is filled with Super DIRTcar Series Big Block Modifieds, Go Nuclear late models, and the 360 sprint cars here at Ohsweken. Now, some drivers are going for two divisions tonight. There's an extra $5,000 on the line if you can win two of the three races. And one of the guys that's going to pull the double duty, well, he's driven just about everything this year, and that would be Stuart Friesen. How hard is it to drive two different race cars in the same night?
Sometimes it's quite a challenge, but it's pretty cool. We got two great race cars here. Great sponsors with Corr merchandising and Halmar International to be able to do this. Jess is going to crew chief the sprint car, the 360, and then we're got our big block series car here too. So looking for a lot of fun.
Which one's going to be harder?
Boy, I don't know. I think they're all a challenge. We're working on putting together a deal to jump in a late model here too. So we're going to try for triple.
Stuart Friesen just can't get enough of driving a race car.
And Friesen got off to a hot start in his qualifying heat race with the sprint car, first of two Corr Kool Kidz sprint car heat races, and Friesen was long gone there on the start.
And so was the high side of the racetrack. As you can see, that was the place to be. Watch on the outside there. There is the number 49 of Scott Kruder making his way up to pick up position number 3.
Yeah, that's Charlie Sandercock. He got by in the 57. Sandercock, another one pulling double duty, but he would have problems in his heat race. Here's Ryan Turner, one of the regulars working to the inside of the 57.
Sandercock, like we said, tough to do double duty and to go late model sprint, two totally different things. Good battle here, though, between a couple of guys who know each other well.
Yeah, Parker Price Miller, the defending Canadian Nationals champion, flew in from Kokomo, Indiana for this event. Well, Scott Kruder came over the border from New York to get up into second, but nobody was going to touch World of Outlaw winner here back in 2015. Stuart Friesen, he was long gone on this one, and he would run away to pick up the win in heat number 1, and we talked to him after he got the checkered flag.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun when you got a cushion like that in a race car like this, just hold it wide open and point and shoot. It's pretty good. Corr team and Halmar International make a good combination here. Jess is doing a good job wrenching and started off the night right, so see where we go from here.
And he mentions Jess, his wife, Jessica Friesen, now Zemkin, former Canadian Nationals winner right here at Ohsweken, knows how to get the onesie around the racetrack. And here in heat race number 2, you saw Jake Brown in the Little Ben 110 jump out in front of Michigan's Dane Nida, but Nida had something for him down on the inside.
Yeah, really found some bite on what you could see is an absolutely beautiful racetrack at this time of the night. This is when it's fun. Nice slide job, but chance to get him right back off of 2.
Yeah, nice move by Brown to get back to the inside and take the lead once again. He's got one win earlier this year here in the Friday night weekly competition at the Ohsweken Speedway. Then you had a battle for second. The 0 being driven tonight by Holly Porter for the injured Glenn Stiers. She's a crate sprint car regular, but it was another former crate sprint regular getting around her. That was the 47X of Dylan Westbrook, one of the dominators, while it was Jake Brown running away to pick up the win here in the second and final qualifier for the sprint cars.
Yeah, it is hammered down out there right now. It's pretty tacky, the track, so just got to keep your RPM up.
And then it was time for the Super Dirt Car Series. Big block modifieds, 3 qualifiers with the top 4 would make the redraw, and Billy Whitaker jumps out in front of heat race number 1.
Former USAC sprint car driver, outlaw circuit regular back at Fulton, said he wasn't going to run much this year, but he's been doing a lot of traveling and looking pretty good in that 109.
That's because he runs Fulton regularly and doesn't run a second track regularly. He just runs the Super Dirt Car Series, had a win out at Eldora earlier in the year. That was a big highlight. And then the following night on that, Peter Britton won at Sharon. Peter Britton moved into second in this one.
And Peter's been good all year long. Yep. This is his personal ride here. He also drives a car for the Romanos out at Albany, Saratoga, where he leads the points there.
He does lead the points out in Malta and would have a chance to take the lead in this first qualifier, but would come up a little bit short as Billy Whitaker, quick timer in this group, would pick up the win, and he would talk to Paul afterwards.
That's pretty exciting, you know, Paul. Never been here. We rolled off that fast time. Won the first heat. You know, it's as good as it gets for me, this part-timer. LJL Racing 109, Scott Jeffrey's performance are pretty good right now.
A part-timer, though, but he's getting a lot more hours every week than he was earlier. Qualifying heat race number 2, Rich. I like this here. We got the top 3 in points in one heat.
Top 3 in the Super Dirt Car Series points, battling it out. And how about Larry White? Lightning Larry through the middle, gets around Matt Shepard, and gets underneath the 91 of Billy Decker. Decker is the points leader coming in tonight, looking for another Super Dirt Car title. But he would have something for his former teammate in the 99L.
Yeah, Larry White, of course, the two of them know each other well. They were teammates, ran at Brewerton and Fulton for many, many years together. But Larry White would have the early edge here. Now, Matt Shepard's an interesting story. Missed 2 races on the tour, 1 for suspension and 1 to let Hall of Famer Steve Payne drive his car at Wheatsport. But he somehow is still in the mix and in the hunt for a championship.
That's because he's won the last 4 Super Dirt Car races, and he was back at it, battling after the 91 of Billy Decker to get up into second and start to put some pressure on Larry White. Larry loves running the outside of any racetrack, and here early on, the cushion was the place to be. But then Shepard moved to the inside of White. This is about as close as they've come together since they got really close together at Utica Rome.
Yeah, this was a great battle here at the front, and those two know each other well. But in the end, look at that last corner. Matt Shepard, the winner.
Just a heat race, not a whole lot of experience here at Ohsweken. Wide racing track. Just 3 guys battling out, trying to figure out what's the fast groove out there right now.
And Shepard got it figured out there. That was a good heat race. This one pretty strong as well. Tim Fuller in the number 19. Familiar number, but a different ride for him tonight, driving a team car to Mike Maresca. We'll see Maresca pulling double duty a little bit later on. Brett the Jet Hearn up into second, and here comes Jimmy Phelps.
Jimmy Phelps has been hot right about the right time. A tough start to the season, but as things have heated up here in August, he's been getting a little bit better. And Brett Hearn, he's still lurking with a chance at the championship here.
Yep, Hearn had a non-points win on the tour back at Volusia. How about Matt Williamson? He was a winner on the tour 2 years ago. He looks to the inside of Jimmy Phelps. He's the points leader down at Lernerville. Goes all the way from right here in Southern Ontario down to Western Pennsylvania every Friday night to run his big block modified, and had some momentum on the outside to get up there to third.
And his dad, Randy Williamson, one of the big setup gurus over there at Bicknell Race Cars. When you call looking for advice, his dad is often the guy that gives them, so you know he's got a good pipeline as to what it takes to make that car fast.
This is only the second ever big block race here at Ohsweken. Williamson did have 2 358 wins here, but it was Tim Fuller driving away to pick up the win in his new ride. He felt pretty comfortable about it after we talked to him.
Track's really fast right now, and the top side's the place to be, but I think eventually here the bottom is going to be. But no, it's a good look right now for the St. Lawrence Radiology.
We have completed 2 of the 3 divisions for their qualifying heats. We've got 1 more left to go. It's the late models. We'll show their 3 heats when we come back here on Speedway Showcase.
It's all going down at Ohsweken Speedway. It's Nationals Weekend, featuring the 13th Annual Aero Express Canadian Sprint Car Nationals and the Burger Barn night before the Nationals. We bring you the biggest racing weekend of the year. Over 50 of the best 360 sprint car teams from all over North America, and the last big racing party of the year with live music in the campground Friday and Saturday night. Log on to OhswekenSpeedway.com for tickets and camping information. Ohsweken Speedway, it's the place to race.
Magic. That's what music can bring to your life. And that's why we at Tenacious Sound focus on providing personal service and the highest quality products tailored to your needs and taste. Headphones, turntables, wireless systems, speakers, home theaters that exceed the best out there. We have it all. Let us demonstrate how much more performance, enjoyment, and value experience can bring to you. Your music, your ears, your choice. Tenacious Sound, Army Square, Syracuse. TenaciousSound.com.
Take a look inside any rotary combine, and you'll find single rotor technology. Technology Case IH introduced over 35 years ago with the axial flow combine. But unless it gives you more bells and whistles with fewer belts and chains, more power using less fuel, it's not an axial flow. Because while the heart of every rotary combine beats red, only Case IH gives you the power to do more.
The late models are set to go with their qualifying heats here at the Ohsweken Speedway for the Triple Crown Showdown. We're going to have 3 of the qualifiers with 31 cars here tonight. Doug, that means that some drivers are not going to be able to start the features. The top 6 make it into the show from this one.
Yeah, so the heats are very, very important here. You don't want to be watching the feature from the pit grandstand area. And as you can see, a good field, nice mix of cars, primarily from this side of the border, but a few of the guys from down in the States as well. Crate-powered late models ready to go in qualifier number 1.
And Sam Panaccio will lead the field to green. You saw he is carrying our onboard camera for the night out the back, and he hopes to have that view. Interesting to note as the drivers work down the back straightaway with Stan Zankin working to the outside. Normally the Go Nuclear late models run timed hot laps, but the transponders were not working for them, so this is an open draw format, and that means that some of the drivers in the back are very quick, like Charlie Sandercock, who started back in 7th, but he is moving his way up as Panaccio gets around former sprint car and pro stock driver Stan Zankin to get the race lead away. Here comes Sandercock on the outside, though.
And a lot of times when you do get this draw format, the heat races can be a little more entertaining because you don't necessarily know, like you said, where that fast driver is. As it appears right now, the fast guy's on the outside, Charlie Sandercock, who just ran a sprint car, looking pretty good in his late model.
Yeah, his sprint car did not look so strong as he fell back in his 57, but this one, his comfortable ride, where he is the defending Go Nuclear late model champion, has taken the lead away. And we should mention, even though it's August, it is the first race of the year for the Go Nuclear late model series, and Sandercock is trying to become the first 3-time champion of the touring series.
And notice how he moved down a little bit right there as he was coming through 3 and 4. A lot of times, just because you have the lead and you've used a particular line to get there, you've got to look around. You've got to find out what the car is going to do in different situations. As we watch the battle for 4th here, Mark Rayner and Brandon Moet going at it. Rayner in 4th, Moet in 5th.
A couple of Brighton Speedway regulars. This is for the 4th position, and a contact is made as Moet slams on the binders, and here comes Colton Lenningham, a Humberstone regular, and he plows his way through, getting by Rayner. So that puts Rayner back to 6th. And again, only 6 drivers from each of the heats will automatically transfer to the feature.
And was there some damage there? I mean, these late models are not necessarily designed for front-end impact, as you can see. So a lot of times something little like that can cause the car to overheat. We'll have to see if he's got a problem there as we look out the back of Sam Panaccio.
He looks back at the 5 of Steve Baldwin, who is here for the first time.
Got a little loose.
Top 3 make the redraw, so Baldwin still hangs on to that position as Charlie Sandercock leads down the back straightaway. Sandercock, in his first 2 appearances here at Ohsweken, has finished runner-up in the feature. He's put himself in good position as he works off at turn number 4 and gets his first ever qualifying heat win here at the Big O.
So the defending champion in the series starts things out like he wants to. Top 6 cars are going to get in. So where is 6th place? Just coming across the line right now. Mark Rayner gets it. Stan Zankin just misses in the 27Z.
Charlie Sandercock has driven a sprint car here, not just on Go Nuclear nights. He did compete in the Canadian Nationals a few years ago as well. We had a chance to hear from Charlie and talk to him about pulling double duty tonight and how tough it was for him to be here with 2 cars.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 race cars here tonight. We're trying to find a big block ride a little bit there, but just life's been hectic the last little bit with a whole bunch of stuff going on at home with our farm show and tractor pulls and race cars, and it's just been crazy. So we're just doing double duty tonight without 3 rides.
Like that's not enough to do,
yeah.
Right? You know, I just couldn't find a big block modified. Not like they're sitting around in the corners qualifying heat race number 2 here, and some big names right up front.
And really, this field is comprised of 4 different elements. You got drivers from Humberstone just down the road here in Southern Ontario. You got drivers from South Buxton way out towards Detroit in Southern Ontario. Drivers from the Brighton, Ontario Speedway north of Lake Ontario. And about 4 or 5 drivers from Central New York, the Fulton Speedway, that are in this 31 car field tonight. The gentle giant Greg Bellier in the number 25, he pulls out in front of the field. Contact a little bit further back, and Chris Fleming goes around.
That's one of the drivers from Central New York. Chris Fleming was the first late model champion at the Fulton Speedway. Chad Holman, who's also in this heat, is also running with him at the same track. But the tough break for Chris Fleming is we'll try to take a look and see what happened here, how these cars got all jammed up. It looks like he's got some right front damage.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to continue as Fleming started a little bit further back again with no timed hot laps, and there you see the 7Z of Dave Stolzenberg getting into the 00 of Jim Dale Jr. And this is the kind of the issue that you have with drivers that are running based off of an open draw. You don't have the field kind of sorted out, and you got some drivers that have less experience that are getting together and causing issues for the two-time Fulton champion in the number 10 of Chris Fleming. So he'll go to the back, an original restart, double file for this one, which still puts Robbie Wilson on the inside of the 09 and Greg Bellier to the outside, with the top three making the redraw.
And, of course, it's an original restart with the exception of the guys that are in there, so no Delaware start in that situation as the green comes back out qualifying heat race number 2.
Yeah, you got a quick look there at Jingle Cam, we'll call it. It's hanging from a chain over the flagger as we get it back underway. And Rob Pitts to the inside. Pitsy in the 69 has driven just about everything here at Ohsweken. He's a 22-time Sportsman winner here at Ohsweken, the 2002 Sportsman champion.
Yeah, and he was running Sportsman back in the open days, back before the crates came out. So when you think of Canada and you think about one of the great Sportsman drivers, he's one of the first names that pops up as we watch the battle for third here.
And there's another former open-wheeled star, the 91 of Chad Holman, former big block modified driver, has done a great job transitioning now in his second year to the late models, but it's Pitsy looking to the inside of Greg Bellier for the race lead.
Well, it's a nice move by Pitts there on the bottom. Knows this track well. Still learning the late models, like you said. Bellier's been around the block a few times. He's been running these cars pretty much since the inception of the series, so a little bit surprised to see Pitts take the lead here.
And Bellier's got a lot of work going on in his personal life, so he has been running part-time this year in the 25. Well, a driver like Chad Holman, probably the only driver that is here tonight running 2 nights a week. He runs Saturday nights at the Fulton Speedway, where he is second in points, and he runs Sunday nights at the Humberstone Speedway, where he has 6 wins and is the points leader. He's closing in, and again, the top 3 make the redraw, and Holman are starting to apply some pressure in that potent 91.
Started his career at the big blocks out there at Canandaigua, ran them for a long time. Actually took a little break for a while, did some go-kart racing
micro sprints,
for a little bit before he decided the late model was the way to go, and started at Canandaigua. They dropped the class, moved to Fulton after that.
And again, he's got good power looking to the inside of the 25. Meanwhile, some good battles going on back in the pack for transfer positions. Right now you see 5th place, Kenny Winfield on the inside, and the 82 just lost that to CJ Field. Field, a driver from the South Buxton Raceway, but he gets a little bit out of shape. And here comes Chris Fleming in the number 10. He's 1 spot out of transferring right now, and that would be a pretty big deal for a driver that last year ran the full tour and finished 5th in points.
Well, this is not where he wants to be right now on the outside looking in, but you can tell as they show him 2 to go, I think he's gaining on these drivers just a little bit. Looks like he might have something on the bottom, and that's, by the way, where he likes to run.
Yeah, exactly, and he's got that car really torqued over. It looks a little bit really tight for where he wants it to be, but he does drive to the inside of CJ Field and looks to put himself into the feature event.
Field pushed up that time. You could tell something, the car loaded up on the right front or something. No problem out front, though, for Rob Pitts, the former Sportsman driver, like you said, has looked very good here tonight. Got a little push that time through the corner.
He might have to tweak on that one, but he picks up the win here in qualifier number 2. Bellier and Holman are into the redraw.
4th place, Robbie Wilson is in. Ken Winfield it is in. Fleming, who was involved in that first lap caution, ends up getting the final transfer spot, so nice recovery for him.
2 out of the 3 qualifiers for the Go Nuclear late models are now complete. We've got 1 more heat race left to go, and we'll show it to you when we come back here on Speedway Showcase.
If you're enjoying these late models on Speedway Showcase, you need to be there in person. It's the Go Nuclear Late Model Series, a tour made with both the racer and fan in mind. This series is coming to a track near you, so make it out there before the season's over. Come see the cars and stars of this broadcast as they battle it out for bragging rights. The Go Nuclear Late Models invade Fulton Speedway, Friday, September 29th.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday night excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is presented by Excel Tower Service, Adam Naylor Plumbing, Humber Nurseries, Divots Excavating, B-Tech Concrete and Construction, Laguna, Gillies Napa, Deerhaven Victory, BA Custom Headers, Bellevue Fabricating, C. Smith Automotive Machine Shop, Gullivan International, Superior Crane, Scott Jeffries Performance, and Tenacious Sound.
Back here in Southern Ontario at the Ohsweken Speedway, the third heat race here for the Go Nuclear Late Models in the Triple Crown Showdown. And again, the drivers an open draw for this format, so very different. A couple of buddies, Andy Mayhew and the Adam Turner, driving the 73X tonight. A little bit different for him, former champion, the R19 of Dale Caswell. Keep an eye on Mike Maresca. He's one of three drivers pulling double duty tonight. He's in the 7M that he does not run that often. As we are underway, the green flag is out. Three white cars lead us into turn number one.
Really nice mix of drivers here in this qualifying heat. And look down on the inside. There goes Phil Potts up into the early lead.
Potsy down on the bottom, the defending Brighton Speedway champion, making a nice move and slides up in front of Adam Turner. We always go back to that race at Cornwall a few years ago where those two finished about 2 inches apart up from each other. But right now, Mike Maresca on the move, trying to move into the redraw spot. That's the third position that's up for grabs. Andy Mayhew, a regular up the Brighton Speedway, while Maresca has been running Fonda this year, right, with the big block modified, as well as following the Super
on
DIRTcar
Sunday
series.
as well. And of course, just moved into big blocks. Pretty much last year was primarily a small block modified guy, so I didn't even know he had this late model until we showed up here today.
And he moves with a nice maneuver into the third position. Kyle Sopaz, K-Rex, and here comes Dale Caswell. Surprise, surprise, on the bottom in the R19, trying to close in on the Mayhew 1X as we've got a battle shaping up now for second. Maresca, boy, he is a rocket ship right now on the outside.
Still getting used to Adam Turner in that 73X.
Yeah, just a part-time deal for him tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't look right to see him in that car. As you can see, Maresca is really picking up this late model pretty quick. That was a nice move on the outside to pick up second spot. And look right behind him. Here comes the 12 of Kyle Sopaz.
Sopaz with a win at his hometown Brighton Speedway as well as at Humberstone. He moonlighted in one night and got the victory, and he's going to move
look at
by
that push from Turner.
Adam Turner, and that's going to put Turner back into the fourth position. Remember, Sopaz now going up to third will make the redraw if he can hang on. Well, Dale Caswell's got some work to do in the R19. Caswell back to running weekly at Fulton. He's been doing a nice job so far this season with 2 wins.
And Adam Turner is in that position right there that, we got a caution on the Speedway. But Turner falling back, that caution might be the best thing for him.
It could be.
Because he was losing ground fast.
Yeah, it's the Jay Liverance 911 coming around. Well, we have an opportunity. We wanted to hear some of the drivers, their first thought they think of when they think of Ohsweken.
Beautiful, gorgeous facility. Momentum.
Wide, fast, smooth. Sprint car country. Canadian Nationals.
Probably one of the only tracks other than maybe some of the Central New York tracks that we can carry the kind of speed through the corners that we carry here.
Home, being close to home, and this is only an hour away from where I grew up. And the facility is awesome around here. The washroom, it's the best washrooms around. The racing service is always good. Real light track. It's, in my opinion, definitely the best dirt track.
They have a lot of good stuff to say, but I always love when the drivers comment on how great the bathrooms are.
Well, that's a good thing, though, because let's be honest, we've all been at some racetracks, Rich, where you might want to go on the way if you can.
It is. They are top-notch, though. That is for sure. We are back underway with 2 laps to go. A Delaware double-file restart, which means the leader has his own row, but that might not matter. Maresca with a big move to the outside, but that might open up the door for K-Rex, Kyle Sopaz, who's going to peek down to the bottom in the number 12, coming to the white flag.
I've been really impressed with Maresca here, though. I mean, for a guy who doesn't do this much, has been doing a lot of different things, he looks really sharp in that number 7 right now.
Slides it into the corner, but the car's still got a wicked push on him. They're going to have to get that worked out for the feature. The good news is he'll probably be in the redraw. Meanwhile, they work into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time, and as they battle it out for second, it will be Phil Potts for the second straight year winning a heat race here at Ohsweken.
Well, car was working well. You could tell the difference with the way his car was going through the corners with Maresca and Sopas.
So 6 more drivers punch their ticket into the features. We've got 3 features coming up when we come back here on Speedway Showcase. It's feature time here at the Ohsweken Speedway. First up are the sprint cars. And for the report on what they're going to face here on the racetrack, let's go down trackside to Paul Small.
Thanks to a little sprinkle from Mother Nature just before the sprint car feature rolled out, this track is bad fast tonight. It is tacky and bitey from top to bottom. Now, how much the sprint cars burn off is going to be anybody's guess. My guess is going to be this track is going to stay consistently fast all night long. It's hammer down time.
Yeah, perfect conditions for the sprint cars right now. That little bit of moisture that had been kind of forecasted all afternoon is finally starting to show up here on the grounds. So they're going to get this going in just a moment. Always beautiful to see the 4-wide salute. This home to the Canadian Nationals coming up here September. And it's a show you don't want to miss as our sign impressions race setup shows us $1,500 on the line. Small field of cars, but it's a good one.
It is a good one, too. And the thing that makes this race a little interesting that I'm going to want to watch here early on, Rich, is with the changes, with the weather that rolled through the area, the teams probably had to dial back some changes that they made anticipating a slickening racetrack. Are they back to a heat race setup? It's going to be interesting to see who's fast here and who made the right changes.
The top 8 drivers drew for their position based off of passing points, and that put some fast company like Parker Price Miller and Stuart Friesen back in row number 4. That'll be interesting to watch as current points leader Jim Hoopinen starts back in 12th. You see double-duty driver Charlie Sandercock in 13th as this 18-car field gets ready to go green. 20 laps to be the distance. And like you mentioned, the track very much like it was back in the heats, so some of the drivers maybe can tweak on that. They're coming around to the green flag, which is now out. Corey Turner and Jake Brown will lead him to green, and it is Jake Brown in Little Bend 110 leading him into turn number 1 and 2.
And you would think in a situation like the Ohsweken regulars should have a little bit of the advantage as we watch Dylan Westbrook, who has really been the man up here this year in that orange number 47. He's now up to second place.
Yeah, he's got 6 wins this year here at Ohsweken. I think he told me he has 14 overall when you combine the 360s and the crate sprints. He's up into spot number 2. Corey Turner chasing after him in the number 97 as he rides in 3rd. Mitch Brown in 4th as we complete lap number 2. And very fast times being set down on the racetrack. Problem right now for Corey Turner in the 97.
Oh,
Turner
was running 3rd.
Going pit side. Yes, he was in the 3rd position. He is off. So now this becomes a battle for 4th as Stuart Friesen looks to the inside of Scott Kruder.
Another thing that doesn't bode well for Corey is that he didn't bring out a caution on the track. He must know that it's something major that they can't fix quickly, or he would have waited as we watch this battle here. Stuart Friesen, of course, has been doing a little bit of everything this year. Let's not forget that he's also been on the Camping World Truck Series, doing some NASCAR racing as well. And really, it just seems like you could put this guy in just about anything as we watch 6th and 7th going down the backstretch.
And these are team cars. The Parker Price Miller 67X up on the outside of the racetrack. Dane Nida in the 17X. You got an Indiana driver on the outside, Michigan right behind him. So some hired guns doing a nice job, but they're a little bit further back. Here we go back to the lead. Jake Brown up in front of the field looking for his 2nd win here this season. While Dylan Westbrook is starting to stalk his prey. And Doug, I go back to the race 2 years ago here. It was his first time out in a 360, and he almost won it. It was a sign of things to come, as here he comes to the inside. Westbrook looking for the slide job. Yes, he gets out into the race lead. Brown goes back after him. Whoa, that almost got dangerous in turn number 1.
That did not work. Look at the gap now from 1st to 2nd. I was just going to say they're just starting to approach some traffic at the back of the pack. All he's got to do is stay with him at this point. But, you got to react in these cars. No time to think, and that's going to take him a while to make up that distance as we see Cole McDonald watch the leader go by.
Yes, as he got lapped. And I think Jake tried to go with his own crossover maneuver, and the line just wasn't there. Westbrook came back down as the 47X now moves by the John Burbridge lap car. And again, he's been a dominant force. He's won not only here at Ohsweken and on the SOS Tour, but he won a Patriot race and he won an ESS race at Merrittville. So he's toured around and been dominant, not just here on his own playground. As he gets by Curtis Gartley. 10 down, 10 to go. They only run 20 laps in their weekly competition here at Ohsweken, and that doesn't leave a lot of time for drivers to make up ground as you see three very potent cars battling for fourth.
Yeah, you can see right there the 1Z going down to the bottom. Of course, Stuart Friesen, that is his wife's car technically. Of course, they had a baby last spring, and she has not raced a lot since that time.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit surprised, actually, but she's doing a great job as a crew chief. She's still around the sport, supporting her husband, and right now he's got his hands full going for fourth place.
And as you mentioned, he ran some Camping World truck races so far this year. Yeah, second at Eldora. He almost won the thing. We do need to mention that. He slides up in front of Parker Price Miller, though.
Nice
and
pass.
Again, one caution is going to put these guys right back into the mix. But for a driver like Friesen, who came here with this car with the double duty in mind, picking up the $5,000 bonus if he wins both, he's got to get the first leg of it to be eligible in the modified event. And right now, running out of time, still sitting back in fifth is Mitch Brown. We haven't talked about him much.
No, we haven't.
He runs in third. He's the defending track champion, and he's in jeopardy of losing a podium spot as the straight shooter Scott Kruder is going after him.
Yeah, Kruder's been running a lot this year, a lot more than he has in the past, looking pretty good now. You got positions 4, 5, and 6 all right there as they work down the back straightaway.
Oh, look at Parker Price Miller. What a move down to the inside, and I think
He's going to get them both.
It caught Friesen off guard, and now he's up to fourth with 5 more laps left to go, but Kruder's not done with him just yet. Boy, Parker Price Miller.
Look at Friesen.
Friesen makes a heck of a maneuver. This is great stuff by a few true professionals in the sprint car world down to the inside.
Somebody tell Dylan Westbrook he's missing quite a battle here back behind him. I don't think he's going to mind too much, but look at these drivers. Friesen didn't quite get the run that time, wasn't able to jump on the throttle as quickly. Parker Price Miller keeps the spot.
Some of you here in New York might be used to the Friesen name, but PPM, Parker Price Miller, is out of Indiana. He's about 21 years old, and he can wheel a sprint car. He's up to third. Mitch Brown's going to go back to the inside of him in the Burger Barn number 10. Goes down to the bottom of the racetrack, but it looks like the 67X is up into a podium position. But Doug, there's only 2 more laps left to go, and Dylan Westbrook is long gone.
Yeah, he is. And what a great battle for third as the leader. As you can see, he just took the white flag while we're watching that battle for third.
Now, he had an issue last week blowing up 2 engines. They had to run a makeup of feature. He blew up an engine in both races. He just got around the guy that took the points lead from him, Jim Hoopinen, but he's trying to take it back even though it's a non-points night. Dylan Westbrook, win number 7 here at Ohsweken this year. Jake Brown in second. Looks like his brother, no, it's going to be Parker Price Miller holding off Mitch Brown for third as Stuart Friesen is fifth, and Scott Kruder back to sixth. It looks like only 7 or 8 drivers going to finish on the lead lap. How about that one?
Wow, only about 5 minutes. That was a very short race right there, but a great run by a guy who knows this place very well. And you were right. We were here a couple years ago watching him. Boy, he has really improved behind the wheel of these sprint cars.
And he's teamed up with Glenn Stiers. Glenn is out with a concussion
get
right
better
now.
soon, Glenn.
And they are very focused on this youngster in the 47X. So he gets yet another win and makes it back down into Ohsweken victory lane as we take a look at the results. Doug, 8 drivers finished on the lead lap, including Dane Nida, but Dylan ran actually the extra lap as the cool down and lapped him before Dane actually finished his race. So technically 8 on the lead lap, but realistically only 7. And look at this, a new 20-lap track record here at Ohsweken. 4 minutes and 55 seconds. They completed that
guess
one.
Wasn't bad. Yeah, but that's one of those things with the sprint cars. They get going like that, and it can be over in the blink of an eye.
So we'll go down to victory lane and talk to the hottest guy here at Ohsweken in sprint car country. That's Dylan Westbrook. He's down with Paul.
Well, after blowing up a couple of engines, Dylan Westbrook blows up the field tonight and winds up in victory lane. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good after last week, blowing up 2 motors, getting 2 DMS, and come back here and to win it. It's great.
And you were able to make the pass pretty easily. You pulled the classic slider on him.
Yeah, me and Jake, we've had some good races. It's always good, some good races when me and him are racing together. But yeah, I ended up getting an opportunity to do a slide job, so did that, and just kind of kept on going after that.
That's Dylan Westbrook, your sprint car winner here tonight at Ohsweken.
So an impressive run by Dylan Westbrook to get yet another win. And don't forget, he's ready to go for the Canadian Nationals coming up in September, a show you don't want to miss. You're not going to want to miss what's on the other side of this break. The Go Nuclear Late Models kick off their 2017 season with their 20-lapper right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go.
It's the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals coming to the Ohsweken Speedway. An event with incredible card counts, legendary names steeped in history. Friday night, the action-packed Burger Barn, night before the Nationals. Saturday, the $12,000 to win, A-Main. Don't miss Canada's biggest sprint car race.
Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you the feature presentation.
Magic. That's what music can bring to your life. And that's why we at Tenacious Sound focus on providing personal service and the highest quality products tailored to your needs and taste. Headphones, turntables, wireless systems, speakers, home theaters that exceed the best out there. We have it all. Let us demonstrate how much more performance, enjoyment, and value experience can bring to you. Your music, your ears, your choice. Tenacious Sound, Armory Square, Syracuse. TenaciousSound.com.
You wanted the best? They're coming four abreast. It's the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. The premiered Winged Warriors battle it out. The World of Outlaws Superstars. The greatest show on dirt is coming. The Empire State Challenge is coming to Weed Sports Speedway with the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars. Sunday, October 15th. Don't miss out on the high-speed action in Weed Sport, New York. Tickets on sale now at weedsportspeedway.com.
The Go Nuclear late models do their own four-wide salute here in front of the crowd at the Triple Crown Showdown. Ready to get it underway in just a moment for their 20-lapper and get their 2017 season underway, as a few rainouts and such have changed this, but it is a $2,000 to win event, which is a big deal for them. Caution laps aren't going to count, and the Delaware double file restart, they're the only division tonight that'll run that procedure if a caution was to come out.
And of course, they really had to run consolation race to decide this. 31 cars to make up this 24 car field, so unfortunately 7 of them are watching this one from the grandstand area. But great division, nice to see them back. They've got about 6 races or so to do after this in the 2017 season. And look at that front row. You got a guy right there, and Mike Maresca, who's fairly new, and Charlie Sandercock, a champion in this series.
You got it spot on. Those are two potent drivers that are going to lead them to green in a lap. With Rob Pitts and Steve Baldwin potent in row number 2. Sam Panaccio is going to carry the onboard. He is second in points at Humberstone, and the guy leading those standings is right to his outside in Chad Homan. You got Kyle Sopaz and the 29 of Phil Potts, along with Greg Bellier, the 9 cars from the redraw. They only took 3 from each of the heats, so 9 cars redraw. Well, guys like Dale Caswell, Chris Fleming, they're going to start further on back in the pack, along with Adam Turner, who we've seen do well here on, formerly the Atomic Power Racing Hour Speedway Showcase, now branded
back in the day. Yep.
As we're back underway, and the green flag comes out from Kyle McKenzie in the field. Rockets into turn number 1. Maresca into the race lead as Charlie Sandercock drifts up a little bit, and Rob Pitts looks to capitalize in the 69. Sam Panaccio in the 311 will look out the back as he sees the 5th place car of Phil Potts moving to the inside of Steve Baldwin, the number 5.
One of the things you got to like about this racetrack, look how wide this place is. 4 and 5 grooves sometimes going through the corner, which is good. Lots of places to go with trouble, but tough to figure out because where is that fast groove? Mike Maresca, who also is pretty much known as a modified guy, out in front right now as Sandercock lurks back in second trying to figure out the racetrack.
And he's trying to make that top side work. He is just pounding up on the top, and the sprint cars had no problem, but the sprint cars have a lot more horsepower to be able to rim ride. He may have felt that out because, again, he was just out there in his sprint car, didn't have a great run. Caution flag out for Chris Fleming, who was around in turn number 2. Boy, this is not his night. No, he finished 3rd here in the Go Nuclear show last year here, Doug, but is going to have some work to do as he brings out the yellow with 2 laps complete. And let's take a look at what happened. We got some of our drone shots working. And
down low.
All right. Goes in. Oh, he hit one of the little ripples. There's a little ripple there in the turn number 1 that we didn't see with the sprints because they don't run down there. He caught it and bounced like a basketball, and I think he might have got finished off by Mark Rayner there in the 55. Nowhere for Rayner to go. So Fleming, like you said, loves to run the bottom, but right now the bottom's a little problematic here, at least in turn number 1 and 2. And here you see that Delaware double file restart. Leader is on his own, and then double file on back as they get back to the green.
And I like that right there. It gives the leader of the race a chance to kind of be in that front row by themselves, and really worked out well for Maresca. They're 3 wide. They go for second place.
The 311 of Sam Panaccio. I call it the Minion Mobile. If you look closely inside the numbers,
there is one there.
You got minions all over the place from Despicable Me. Right now, he is very quick, and this was the show a few years ago where he busted out on the scene. Nobody knew about him. He had only run a handful of races at Humberstone, and he finished in third, and everybody went, wow, you just passed Dale Caswell. Where did you come from? And since then, he's turned into one of the potent potables here out on the racetrack as he goes to the inside of Rob
down
Pitts.
there. They wouldn't turn on him, pushed up the racetrack just a little bit there. But Pedaccio, a two-time winner this year out at Humberstone. Like I said, trouble right here on the front stretch.
Sean Beardsley and Mark Rayner come together. Beardsley was the 31st and final car to pull in the pits. He pulled in real late, but was able to make the show in his 18 money sign. And we'll take a look at what happened from our jingle cam. You see off at turn number 4, it looks like the 25 of Greg Bellion and the 19 junior of Colt Lenningham actually got into Dale Caswell and just blocked the road. You see some sprinkles, though, coming out from our jingle cam, and we've had them just spitting all night long, so going to go right back to the restart. They got ordered up very nicely. They do that over the one-way radio, and Sam Panaccio now running in the number 4 spot with Phil Potts to the outside, Rob Pitts in front of him. 3 wide for the number 3 spot now as Sandercock is the meat in the sandwich.
Well, you can see one car getting a little loose there off the start. That was Phil Potts. And unlike an asphalt track, a little bit of rain like this could actually help the racing surface a little bit. It's just if you get a long, drawn-out yellow, you can lose the track. So the big thing right now is we got to keep the cars moving on this racing surface.
Absolutely. As Baldwin goes to the inside of the 5, he makes contact with Moet. Moet goes around, and they're going to clutter right up. You got the 91 of Holman, the 19 junior of Colton Lenningham, Dale Caswell, and you see Chris Fleming again. It's a parking lot in turn number 1 and 2, and we're back under yellow as it's starting to get pretty slick out there, as you can see by some of the track safety crew.
And that's something that obviously the race officials are going to have to be talking about right now. Was that a racing deal or was that a weather deal? We'll watch and see what we can pick up here.
And it looked like Baldwin just went in way too hot, got into the side of Moet, and Doug, I'm out at Genesee with crate late models all the time, and I see that often. Drivers get in there a little bit too hot, just get the car in front of them sideways, and it stacks everything up because somebody like Chad Holman, he's in a slide. There's nothing he can do.
Bam, that's a hard hit. And another hard hit for Caswell in the front end there, getting into Colton Lenningham. So this might take a little bit to clean up here, as a lot of battered late models on the track.
You see Chad Holman trying to climb out of his number 91, and as you said, we got some cleanup to do. So we're going to come back on the other side of this break and show you the rest of this late model feature from the Ohsweken Speedway.
If you're enjoying these late models on Speedway Showcase, you need to be there in person. It's the Go Nuclear Late Model Series, a tour made with both the racer and fan in mind. This series is coming to a track near you, so make it out there before the season's over. Come see the cars and stars of this broadcast as they battle it out for bragging rights. The Go Nuclear Late Models invade Brighton Speedway, September 22nd and 23rd.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday night excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr Pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
When we saw the rain coming before the break, it came even harder for an hour and a half. We are ready to get it back underway, but before we did, we had the late models on the track for about 20 minutes. They ran the track in. They ran out of fuel, basically, so put the modifieds on the track, tried to get them going, but then it started raining when the mods hit the track, so they went back pit side, and they had to go the old-fashioned way, have all the track safety crew run the track in, but we're ready to go. 5 laps in, 15 to go. Mike Maresca is out in front. Another Delaware double file restart with Rob Pitts and Phil Potts right behind him, ready to pounce as we finally are ready to get it back underway.
drivers' suits are wet, the cars are wet inside, the track is different. Hey, this is the reality of dirt track racing, Rich.
But the difference is that these drivers had a chance to go into their pits and make adjustments if they didn't like what they felt in the opening 5 circuits. Boy, Charlie Sandercock's going to lose some ground, though.
That.
Steve Baldwin moves to the inside, and Baldwin's a full-fendered user as he goes and plays around with some of the sheet metal of his competitors. He moves to the inside of the 311 of Panaccio, and wow, that got close with Panaccio out the back of the 57 of Charlie Sandercock, who rides the rim. And boy, it's still not there yet as he's back to 6th after starting in 2nd. Hard to believe for the defending Go Nuclear late model champion. Battle on for 2nd. This is Pitts and Potts.
Well, and like you mentioned, too, the thing here is, yes, they did have a chance to go in and make changes, but you're guessing at that point on what those changes are going to be. Did Sandercock make the right moves? I guess we'll find out a little bit as we watch this battle for 3rd.
It's all a matter of how quick it takes to get back to the spot that they're planning for. Steve Baldwin to the inside. The yellow flag is out, though. Ken Winfield has come to a stop on the top of turn number 4, so we're back under yellow for the 4th time. And while we have the opportunity, we've been talking about Sam Panaccio's breakout, and we wanted to hear from Sam about how's it been going since the first time we saw him here on TV.
Yeah, we've been picking up our game a little bit and just having some fun, just trying to stay consistent, that's all.
And you've done well this year at Humberstone with 2 trips to Victory Lane.
Yeah, we got a couple wins at Humberstone, and now we're going to be coming back here, and hopefully we can pull one off here.
Been doing a little bit more touring. He likes running around with the Go Nuclear late models. Tried to run the full tour last year as well. Had to miss a few races down the stretch, but likes traveling around. He's a guy that used to run the 4-cylinder trucks down at Afton Speedway, so he knows how to travel.
Yeah, he does, I guess. And that's the thing. You get good at one track, then you start traveling to other tracks. Next thing you know, they all look the same, and you're running pretty well. Boy, Mike Maresca's running well. Look at him drive away on this restart.
Phil Potts still trying to take the second spot away, and he almost tipped over the 29.
That's as close as you want to get right there. That's twice we've seen the bottom of the race cars here in this feature.
Now, sometimes drivers will lift up the left front, but you don't want to see the bottom of a race car. Never on that. As Steve Baldwin's found something on the inside of the racetrack in the number 5. He's a driver with 2 wins so far this year at his hometown, Brighton Speedway, and he's got the number 3 spot.
Wow, driving right around Rob Pitts to pick up that position, and he's in the right line to try for 2nd spot now as Phil Potts. We watch the battle here for position number 4, and Panaccio's got it going on the bottom, too.
Yeah, he's going to get by Pitts as well, and it looks like there's just a couple little ripples on this racetrack that if you hit it right, you're fast. If you hit it wrong, it's an issue. Caution back out on the speedway as Norm Mayhew and Jim Dale Jr., a couple drivers from the Consi, get together and bring us back under yellow. We still got half this race left to go, though, so don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
If you're enjoying these late models on Speedway Showcase, you need to be there in person. It's the Go Nuclear Late Model Series, a tour made with both the racer and fan in mind. This series is coming to a track near you, so make it out there before the season's over. Come see the cars and stars of this broadcast as they battle it out for bragging rights. The Go Nuclear late models invade Fulton Speedway, Friday, September 29th.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else. Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Ready to go back green for the Go Nuclear late models here as part of the Triple Crown Showdown at the Ohsweken Speedway. 10 laps in, 10 to go. It's been all Mike Maresca out in front of the field, but some new dancing partners right behind him in Phil Potts and the 5 of Steve Baldwin. You see the 29 of Potts gets lane choice in that second row.
Right in the back of Maresca, too, on that start.
And he's going to go right after him as Jingle Cam shows us the green flag. Maresca goes up. Baldwin goes for the lead, but went bonsaiing through 1 and 2.
And that's going to cost him right there. It's going to cost him 2nd spot as Potts gets back by. Potts is going to go for the lead. Maresca's got a problem, I think.
I think so as well, as Potts just drove right by him. And we've got a new race leader. Potsy is out in front of the field, and it looks like Baldwin might take second. No, Panaccio gets into the back of Maresca, and now the 5 is up into second.
You know, I noticed I could see the nose of Maresca's car just dive. I don't know if he broke something in the suspension or what, but clearly he's got a problem back to third, and doesn't look like it's going away as we see Charlie Sandercock trying to work the outside, Rich.
Yeah, and you said Maresca might have a problem, but I see him running fine now. He seems to have it sorted out, but Steve Baldwin might have something for the win right now as 2 Brighton Speedway regulars with a pair of wins this season for each of them. Oh, he did it again. He got airborne in turn number 1.
Yeah, he might have to change his line, move up the racetrack or something, as it's just not working down there. He'll try it again, and then Potts again up on 2 wheels that time as he came off of turn number 4.
Who's going to lead at the line with 6 to go? It's still Potts, who just got a win a few weeks ago at the Brighton Speedway. They're going to lap Chris Fleming because Fleming pitted right before we went green, so he made it out about a half a lap down.
And that car's not working.
Yeah, it's not been his night. No, I think the right front is even folded up. But Potts starts to put some distance on the top 3 right now. And how about Charlie Sandercock? A moment ago was back in 7th. He's starting to find something up on the top. He's up to 4th. But the laps are surely winding down.
Yeah, that's true. But, of course, Charlie Sandercock, he's done this kind of stuff before. But Phil Potts, this is the biggest lead he's had at the event so far. And with 4 laps to go, he's putting the blinders on right now and just racing that track, trying not to worry about what's behind him.
One of the more personable drivers in the pit area, always with a smile on his face, always willing to tell you a story. He has not been able to tour much this year. Charlie Sandercock has taken the 3rd spot away, and the caution flag is out. Andy Mayhew comes around in the 1X, another driver from the Consi, as an issue in turn number 2. That seems to be the trouble point for a lot of these drivers, and it may have been what we saw with some of the leaders. Let's go back to that and see what happened that allowed Phil Potts to take the lead from Mike Maresca. Baldwin almost took it in 1 and 2. And watch here as they go into turn number 3, Doug. Maresca just goes up to the top, and
it's
like
pushes
the car never
for
set.
A second or something. I don't know if he's got a right front shock problem or something, but because he's not getting around horribly now, but he's not able to run that same line he was before.
But he lost the 3rd spot at the line. That lap was taken. Sandercock's up to 3rd. There's 3 laps left to go. We're back underway, and Sandercock is going to make a bonsai on the top of the racetrack as he looks for second. Remember, he finished second in the 2 prior Go Nuclear late model events here back in 2015 and 16. He might have the runner-up spot, but Baldwin is strong on the inside.
He's got time. 2 laps to go. He's running a line that nobody else is running. He's going to get around the outside here of Baldwin to take over 2nd place. He's got 1 more position to go. He'll hit 3 and 4 and then see the white.
And I was just going to say Maresca's getting back into the mix, and he might take 3rd back, but he's still got that dreaded push. White flag is out for Phil Potts, looking for a win. We saw him get his first ever win at the Cornwall Motor Speedway a few years back. Has not won much on the Go Nuclear Late Model Tour. Sandercock's going to make a run at him, but it looks like the 29 is going to get the win.
Phil Potts gets it. Sandercock will have to settle for 2nd, and maybe 1 more restart and a couple more laps might have been different. Steve Baldwin 3rd, and Maresca holds on to pick up 4th place, and a good run for Panaccio as well in the top 5.
We're going to talk to Phil Potts later on tonight. They're going to roll the modifieds out. We're going to show you the start of that feature when we come back right after this. The last feature on the Speedway, it's the Big Block Modified Super DIRTcar Series, ready to go with their 75-lap feature. And, Doug, it's going to be a good one. All the stars travel in with this tour, and the fireworks are set to fly, both out of the back of the pace truck and out on the racing oval.
75 laps is what it'll be here. 25 cars, a little bit shorter on the field. Of course, not a lot of local cars to draw from. Chad Brockman came all the way up from Western New York. Good starting spot for him. There's point leader Billy Decker. Billy Whitaker, as we said, traveling up. And how about second-year modified driver Max McLaughlin?
12 drivers redrew. Stuart Friesen's not having luck in the draw
he
tonight.
is not.
Neither is Matt Shepard. So two dominators of the division are starting at the back of this redraw. You see Eric Rudolph, who flipped in the only other big block race here 2 years ago. He's starting well in the back, as is Keith Flack. And way back in the field, some of the local Canadian drivers. Mike Maresca is going to have to start 25th after his car did not start back in the heat race. The winner of this show 2 years ago, Chad Brockman, picked up his only career Super Dirt Car Series win. He leads the field to green, but it's Lightning Larry on the outside of the racetrack. Larry White up on the outside. They're three wide for spot number 5.
Yeah, that's Max McLaughlin down on the bottom, the 109 of Billy
Jimmy
Whitaker. Oh, and Tim Fuller just had to stomp on the brakes, so he was going to drive in the back of Jimmy Phelps.
Chad Brockman going to lead lap number 1 as they work into turn number 1 and 2. Brett Hearn gets a little bit out of shape in the 20 as Brockman stuffs the nose in front of the 99L of Larry White. White will fall back into second as he's up on his customary top of the racetrack. Brockman, a driver that has run mostly 358s this year, point leader at the Merrittville Speedway here in Southern Ontario, so he's used to traveling over the border and still has the lead, but White going down to the inside with the slider.
And White will take the lead off of turn number 4, getting around the cash-cropped farmer, Chad Brockman. But Brockman, probably one of the better-kept secrets in this game. Like you said, primarily a small block runner, but always has big blocks, tends to run some specials late in the year. He was always good at Syracuse, won a lot of those win-in-your-in deals, so you can't sleep on Chad Brockman.
Family-owned operation. Many of these teams are, but it's a little bit different when you talk about Brockman. Decker runs in third in a good battle right now for spot number 4. Mad Max McLaughlin down to the inside of Billy Whitaker. Here's Tim Fuller and Stuart Friesen with a lot of left front lifted up in his 44, and Matt Shepard ready to pounce as well. Remember, Friesen and Shepard started back in 11th and 12th respectively. Right now they run in positions number 7 and 8.
And you can see Whitaker bounce that time through the corners. That'll cost him a spot, perhaps, as Stuart Friesen. Look at him pick that left front up, and Matt Shepard's going to follow him right through. So Whitaker might not be in the preferred groove. And look at Shepard down on the bottom getting a run on Friesen.
Matt Shepard has won 4 straight Super Dirt Car Series events. He has moved up now into position number 6 after starting in 12th, and we're only 6 laps complete now, working lap number 7.
And this has been the case for Matt Shepard. He has been on top of his game. He is at a pace right now to set a new career high in wins if he keeps going.
And this is a different game for Shepard. It's his own operation. They come in with a single car hauler. They actually had to bring the backup in on an open trailer tonight. Well, many of these teams are running double stackers. It's a little bit different operation, but they do not slack on that 9S.
Well, what do they say? Race haulers don't win races, race cars do. As we see the battle for 5th, Tim Fuller's in the number 19. Show a new sponsorship, like we said, with Mike Maresca this week, but Matt Shepard putting a lot of pressure on him as we see the battle for 2nd shaping up now.
Yeah, Billy Decker's been quiet kind of all year. He does have 3 Super Dirt Car Series wins at Fulton, Outlaw, and Eldora. And he is the points leader, but only by 32 over Larry White, who is out in front. Decker needs to move up to 2nd, and he needs to do it pretty quickly.
Point leader also at Brewerton Speedway, driving for car owner Mike Payne. They're running one weekly track at Brewerton to get dirt car points, and then following the series. So they're making the most out of what they have as we watch Shepard. That really seemed to gain much on Fuller, and as we say that, he peeks a nose underneath.
Shepard's a little bit different. He leads points at 3 different racetracks this
Outlaw,
year.
Canandaigua, and Utica Rome, although only one of those tracks will count for the dirt car points. That's Utica Rome.
That's all you need. You only need one.
That's right. You only need it.
And if you're good enough to win the points, that'll work out. But right now, he is trying to get as many points as he can as he looks to the inside of Tim Fuller, who slams the door shut. And the battle for 2nd. Oh, the yellow flag's going to come out. Hearing debris on the front stretch is the reason with 12 laps complete. So we got a lot of racing left to go here from Ohsweken. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Speedway Showcase.
It's all going down at Ohsweken Speedway. It's Nationals Weekend, featuring the 13th annual Aero Express Canadian Sprint Car Nationals and the Burger Barn night before the Nationals. We bring you the biggest racing weekend of the year. Over 50 of the best 360 sprint car teams from all over North America, and the last big racing party of the year with live music in the campground Friday and Saturday night. Log on to OhswekenSpeedway.com for tickets and camping information. Ohsweken Speedway, it's the place to race.
Magic. That's what music can bring to your life. And that's why we at Tenacious Sound focus on providing personal service and the highest quality products tailored to your needs and taste. Headphones, turntables, wireless systems, speakers, home theaters that exceed the best out there. We have it all. Let us demonstrate how much more performance, enjoyment, and value experience can bring to you. Your music, your ears, your choice. Tenacious Sound, Army Square, Syracuse. tenacioussound.com.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play.
Ready to go back green for the big block modifieds here at the Ohsweken Speedway. They do count caution laps, so we are through 18, about to complete our 19th lap with Larry White out in front. He selects the bottom line, and that seems to pay off the bottom of turn number 4. He's back to Dave Farney's green.
Yeah, you and I were just chatting off the mic during the break there about how the bottom really does seem to be the fast way around right now. Larry White, who normally prefers the top side, though, of course, he's matured as a driver. He knows you can't get up there and blast the cushion all the time. Got the lead now as we saw Max McLaughlin move up the speedway in the 6th, and that was not by design.
No, he's actually looking for third as he's really coming on in that HBR 6H. Battle for the race lead, though. Lightning Larry down on the inside. Chad Brockman pushed the nose just a little bit. White could probably slide up, but he's got no spotter to tell him that. He leaves the door open here early in this race, and the Sanborn, New York driver goes back after him in the number 3.
Yeah, and I think Brockman just came close to leading that lap as they came across. Larry White was still scored the leader, but Brockman is right there. Good battle up front as White moves up a little bit. Figures, hey, if somebody's taking a look around the outside of me, I better get up there and see what it looks like.
Doug, this is the beauty of the Triple Crown Showdown. We had 2 features earlier of 20 laps. They couldn't wait. They had to get to the front.
Right,
some of them ran out of time. This one, somebody like Shepard is starting to move his way up through the pack. You see him to the inside of Max McLaughlin. Well, some of the drivers in the front may just be biding their time, trying to save their equipment and see what happens 50 laps from now.
Yeah, and that is the thing with the longer distance races, like you said, especially like with sprints. You know, you got to get the spot when you can. With the modifieds, you can afford to lay back a little bit. You know you're going to wear the tires. The track is going to change. It's going to dry out. You want to be fast in the last 10, not the first 10.
Battle shaping up right now for position number 4 as Tim Fuller and Matt Shepard have both driven by Max McLaughlin and are now going for that 4th position. But Fuller's been able to keep it stuck on the bottom. He talked about the top side being pretty good earlier and said, you know what, I think we got to get to the bottom as the night goes along. We heard him that after the heat race recap. And Pat Ward's found the bottom as well.
He's got the bottom there too, picking up that left front as well to pick up a position there. So Friesen now going the wrong way after making some spots early. As you see the lead that Larry White has now about 5 car lengths as they headed down into turn number 1.
You're right, Doug, and Friesen had moved up 5 spots in the first 5 laps, now has dropped 2 positions, and you can see these drivers lifting up the left front. It's always so cool to see with a big block modified, but it also can be an indication that the cars may be a little bit more tight or snug than they want it to be.
And some drivers like that feeling. They like to know that that right rear is really planted. They're driving off the right front, but a lot of times that can create tire wear too. So sometimes you can calm that down with your foot a little bit as we watch Steve Lewis see the leaders go by.
Yeah, he's the lap car in the orange 11S as they get on by. But I always have to feel that if they're tight early on, they're going to loosen up as the track, or they're going to be able to find that tight condition because the track's going to slick off. And Chad Brockman bided his time, got his momentum back together. He goes to the inside, and it looks like he's going to take the lead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you said, you want a tight car early, but you don't want it so tight that you're going to lose 6 or 7 spots in the first 20 laps. So finding that sweet spot is very tough, as this is just a fantastic race out front. I think Brockman might have him. Ooh. Oh, and he pushed up that time, and they did not touch. White will keep the lead.
Boy, it took everything in Brockman's power not to wreck both of them right there on these open-wheel modifieds. Freddie Carlton, the local Canadian, drifted up the racetrack as he is a lap down, and Shepard might have 4th now on Tim Fuller. They are side by side out of turn number 4, and Super Matt has that position taken away.
Yeah, and he's been looking at the back of that 19 car for a long time. And did you notice what Shepard did that time as he went into 1? We saw the lap before, one of the cars got really low on the entrance to 1. There's a little bit of a bump there. Shepard went just outside of it, arced right around it, was able to keep all the wheels on the ground.
Another thing I see Shepard doing is he's turning this track into a full oval as the yellow is out at Stuart Friesen.
We wondered if he had a problem.
It might be more than just him pulling off. You see him coming down. Oh, yeah, I think he's got something wrong with the rear end
tracking
placement.
right, yeah.
You are right. It is off center in the back. He's going pit side, so we'll take a break as we're just short of halfway here with the Big Block Modifieds at the Ohsweken Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Big Block Modifieds ready to go back green here at the Ohsweken Speedway for their second ever appearance here at the Big O. Larry White has led most of the way, but Chad Brockman has been right there on the back bumper, and he's on the outside ready to restart.
And, of course, Stuart Friesen, we saw him head to the pits. We were thinking maybe they were going to change a tire or something, but they did not come back out, so obviously the problem's a little more substantial for Stuart Friesen.
Up on the outside of the racetrack, Chad Brockman with good momentum, and this time he drives away from Larry White and into the race lead, and Matt Shepard's up to third.
Boy, that was some good racing right there out of turn number 2. Shepard really found something down in the bottom. And look at Brockman pull away.
Now, Chad Brockman, the winner of the only other big block race ever run here 2 years ago, his only Super Dirt Car Series win, is out in front of the field, while Super Matt has designs on going after Larry White. We talked about it a little bit earlier. These two came together at Utica Rome earlier this season, and it did not end well. So there is no love lost in this battle for second.
Yeah, and that was the incident that ended up with the suspension for Matt Shepard right there, who, like I said, missed the next race for the suspension, but the following one he let Steve Payne drive his car at a race at Weedsport. So you thought at that point, okay, his championship hopes are all over, but his hot streak, he's right back in the mix.
Again, he's won 4 Super Dirt Car Series races in a row. He's won the straight ones mostly in Canada, Granby, Drummond, then just over the border, Ransomville and Merrittville. So he's been flying the Canadian flag pretty well in the 9S as the battle shapes up for fourth between Billy Decker and Tim Fuller. White's been able to hold him off pretty much by running the middle of the racetrack, but Chad Brockman is gone.
Yes, he is at this point. And actually, you can see Shepard keep trying to work that inside. He's better here in 3 and 4, but White seems to be better down here in turns 1 and 2, although this time White moved up the track. Shepard moved up. Shepard might have him this time.
And this is reminiscent to what we saw in heat race number 2 when they ran side by side on the final lap. Shepard got him on the final circuit. This time the 9S is able to clear the 99L, and Super Matt has second spot taken away, and Doug's still 33 laps left to go, so plenty of time for him to pass one more car.
Yeah, he started in the 6th row, so mathematically, we got somebody
Steve
heading
Lewis,
into the
lap
pits there.
car,
That was Steve Lewis. Here's the battle for 7th. Keith Black, Lebanon Valley regular, right there in the number 43. Used to the big speed out there at the big old half mile. They've got a baby coming here in just a little bit as well. And Max McLaughlin, like we said, son of Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin, one of the New York NASCAR stars. So they're having a pretty good race here for position number 7.
And here's a little stat on Keith Black. He started 19th tonight. This is for 7th, so he's got
coming.
a pretty good car right now. The driver from Ravenna, New York, that is second, not just at Lebanon Valley, but Albany, Saratoga in the point standings.
They call him the Ravenna Rocket, and he is living up to that here tonight. Caution out, maybe a debris on the track is what we're hearing right now.
Yep, there it is in turn number 4.
There it is.
So Chad Brockman probably didn't want to see that yellow. He is out just dominating this field. And we talked to Chad earlier about that big win that he had 2 years ago and what it meant to get that victory.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we come from deep in the pack. We started 11th and worked our way to the front and held on for the win right at the end. How different is this track compared to other tracks on the Super Dirt Car Series?
This track's comparable to a lot of the other tracks on the series, but it's got its own characteristic that, it's hard to explain, but it's one of them tracks where I think it's an even playing field for everybody that comes here because we don't race here weekly and no one races here weekly, so it's a good deal.
I'd question right now if it's an even playing field because right now he seems to have the dominating car in the number 3. Not only did he win that Super Dirt race back in 2015, he also won a 358 race here in 2013. So he knows how to get to victory lane. Nobody else in the field can say that. Now that Stuart Friesen has dropped out, he won a
That's true. I was just going to say, that's the only guy, but he's not out there anymore. 25 laps to go. 2/3 of the way through. Larry White trying to bounce his way through the bottom. It didn't work.
And here comes Shepard for the race lead. Super Matt Shepard going for 5 Tour wins in a row, puts it down to the inside. Billy Decker had a slam on the binders right behind him, and we've got a new race leader with 25 laps remaining. It's the 9S.
And Shepard just slides right up into that groove that Brockman has been running, and why not? He was running up there as the leader. You might as well try it for yourself. Hey, how about Pat Ward now up into position number 4? He's got to quietly made his way into the mix here as he's right behind his former teammate Billy Decker.
I think a little bit of an issue there for Brockman as he took the lead on the bottom, but so many of these modified guys know you got to start on the inside to be effective, and Ohsweken's a different type of track. You want to start on the outside, and he tried to go up there thinking I got to go up to the top of the racetrack, but Shepard proved that That's why big blocks often start on the bottom.
Well, there's two chains of thought when you're making that decision as a driver where you want to go on a restart. Do I want to go where I'm good, or do I maybe want to put the other guy where he's not as good? So it might have been a thought like that. As we look at this racing right here for 5th place.
And the Max McLaughlin's starting to get it wound back up on the top. Is boy, not a few laps ago we were talking about Larry White leading this race and being a dominant car, and he has fallen back outside of the top 4 positions as Keith Black continues to move forward in the 43, running right on the bottom, and that's the guys going forward. We saw Matt Shepard do it, Pat Ward, and now the 43 of Keith Black. The bottom line underneath that little bit of a ripple in turn number 1 seems to be the hot line, while guys on the top like Larry White are going backwards.
Flack's looking for 7th here on Tim Fuller. Saw one car way to the outside there. He's going to make that work. Larry White's back to his comfort zone in the top, and probably about the only guy who's really making that work right now.
Well, I think Larry's one of those guys where it's like, if it's going to work, I'm going to keep trying. I'm not good on the bottom, I know that. And Flack has it going once again, goes to the inside, and Tim Fuller's in no man's land there in the middle, but he's going to be able to get some momentum off the corner and remain even with the 43 as Brett Hearn's trying something up on the top of the speedway as well in his familiar number 20.
We saw Eric Rudolph on the bottom. We had a little peek of the 25 car there. He started deep in this field here today, so he's done a nice job making his way up. The son of Dirt Hall of Famer Charlie Rudolph running real well. Now there's the leader. You can see the margin from first to second, and it is growing right now with 16 to go this time.
And something that Matt Shepard has over maybe somebody like Chad Brockman, there's no nerves, there's no thoughts of what this would mean.
True.
It's just another stroll in the park for him. Well, Chad Brockman wants this one bad. He doesn't get a lot of cracks each year to win a big block Super Dirt Car Series event, you know, with some of his hometown tracks, and then he comes to this one like he says he feels he's on an equal playing field, and he's trying to reel him back in and actually holding a pretty steady distance. You just have to wonder if Shepard is kind of just biding his time, knowing that he's got a comfortable advantage, because Dave Farney's probably showing him that the flags are stretching out.
Yeah, what he'll do is he'll actually show the flags, and if your margin is growing, he'll take them, show them parallel, and then expand them wider, and that way he kind of knows. So really is an advantage for the leader, because you know how hard to push, especially with 14 laps to go. You've got some traffic in front of you. You want to be aggressive, but not too aggressive to get in a little mix-up with it.
I think we'd show you that right now, but the jingle cam I think the battery went dead or something, because we lost it. But lap traffic, the factor again, and here comes Chad Brockman. I don't know if Shepard's kind of withholding a little bit, or Brockman really has something, because he is running down the 9S.
You know, and that's a good point that you brought up there too, because a lot of times you will kind of lay back just a little bit until you see somebody, and then there's a nose, time to pick it up, because like we said, you want to make sure you have something at the end. So Shepard might be just biding his time and saving his tires, although now he's got a couple of lap cars as a cushion between himself and Brockman.
Doesn't hurt.
And that's always good.
Gets by Brandon Walters in the 22, Tour regular, the 08 of Canadian Mark Delario. And now Brockman's got to deal with Delario, a driver he competes with at the Merrittville Speedway on Saturday nights. But it looks like it'll work out pretty well for him. But you do see that advantage has grown between first and second.
And a lot of times being the leader going through traffic is easier than second place. They show that passing flag. They know the leader's coming right up. Tommy Flanagan next in line, another guy who primarily a small block guy, but does run a certain handful of big block races every year. But it's tough to compete against a guy like Matt Shepard when you're a part-time big block
Yeah, I'm not
racer.
even sure he has the big block in the car for this one.
Yeah,
Ryan
not sure if he did or not.
Another one right in front of them, similar scenario. But a lot of times it's in contact. Ooh. Shepard gets into the back of Mike Maresca, but the yellow flag is out for the 66X of Kerry Terrence.
Oh, and that's probably what happened. Maresca saw Terrence at the top, checked up, and that's how it happened.
So the yellow is out with 66 laps home, so we will come back and see the conclusion when we come back.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Ohsweken Speedway is the home of Friday night excitement, featuring Canada's best weekly sprint car action. The Winged Warriors battled it out on the high bank 3/8 mile oval each and every week, chasing after the Corr Pack title. The grandstands, lighting, and racing are second to none. Ohsweken is also the home of the groundbreaking crate sprint car division, as well as huge stock car fields with incredible door-to-door action. Visit OhswekenSpeedway.com to plan your trip to the Big O.
I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play.
Nine laps left to go for the 9S of Matt Shepard. He leads going through turn number 3 and 4 with a single file restart, and the laps have stopped counting for cautions. That's the way it works at the Super Dirt Car Series. He's looking for 5 wins in a row. Doug, does he have a little damage after that contact with Mike Maresca?
That's what we were just chatting about. Sorry there, Rich, but we were just chatting about that during the break there. You know, there was some contact. We watched Pat Ward get underneath his former teammate for position number 3, and I would think the answer to that question is, I don't think so. He's pulling away again.
How about this run for Pat Ward, a driver that, one of the few drivers that runs 3 nights a week. He's down on the inside, the Genoa Giant to the bottom of Billy Decker, and is looking for the 3rd spot. He's got it off of turn number 2, but Decker's going to race back hard to the outside, and it will be Ward getting up to 3rd.
Yeah, and one of the more likable guys on the tour. Runs Brewerton, Fulton, Utica, Rome. He's been running forever. Used to work for Howard Conkey back at Showcar back in the 80s. I mean, you name it, this guy has been there. He's done well, and it's nice to see Pat Ward with a possible podium finish.
Interesting to note that 2 years ago, Ward was not running the full Super Dirt Car Series. He did not run this race at Ohsweken, so this is his first time here, as Brockman's got a little something cooked up for Shepard. You saw him peek down to the inside and maybe starting to try some bonsai runs. And I tell you what, Ward's not out of the mix either, but there's only 5 laps left to go.
That's what I was just going to say. If he's going to start doing something, he's got to start doing it now. And if anything, I think Ward is gaining a little bit on Brockman right now. At least it looked that way as they went through the corner 4 to go this time.
I know it's a little bit out of camera view right now, but that 99L of Larry White is going to go down swinging up on the top of the racetrack. He is just hammering. You hear everybody else lifting off the throttle, going into turn number 1, going into turn number 3. Larry is full song, just rim riding, and he's holding his spot. It's a lot of fun to watch, but right now, Matt Shepard's got the best view as he continues to lead. Brockman closes in with 3 to go.
Yeah, and like you said about White, too, he's running the top. Sometimes the cushion moves up so far, it just becomes too long of a way around the racetrack, so I wonder if that's the case, too. But Shepard, no problems out in front. He'll see the parallel flags this time and know he's got just 2 more laps to go.
Again, looking for his 5th win in a row on the Super Dirt Car Series. Has been
amazing.
The dominant force, and this would be his 6th win overall. He did have a win at his regular track of Utica Rome earlier this season. The white flag is set to come out. The lap cars look like they're far enough ahead. Chad Brockman is close, but Shepard 1 lap away, 3/8 of a mile left to go around the Big O.
And he might not have to deal with any traffic. Just a little while ago we were saying, well, he's missed 2 races. No chance at a championship for Matt Shepard. I think he could take that sentence and throw it out.
He redrew the 12th starting position, and it didn't matter.
Wow.
Matt Shepard picks up the win, his 5th in a row on the Super Dirt Car Series.
Good run for Brockman, and how about Pat Ward making his way up to finish in position number 3, Billy Decker in 4th, and of course Larry White holds on for 5th. Strong run for Max McLaughlin 6th, and how about Eric Rudolph coming from the back to pick up 7th. Keith Flack also a top 10 run for him.
Well, we're going to go to break and talk to the winner of this race and the late models down in Victory Lane. When we come back, don't go anywhere. Matt Shepard down in Victory Lane for the first time ever here at the Ohsweken Speedway, but no stranger on the Super Dirt Car Series. His 6th win of the year on tour, and he's down with Paul.
For this guy, it's his 5th Super DIRTcar Series win in a row, and there's a reason why there's that S symbol on the side of the car. You were Superman tonight.
We had a really good race car tonight. Fortunate the track was really racy and wide, and had a good car and was able to work our way to the front. And just can't thank this team enough. This thing's it's a lot of fun to drive every night.
What was tougher tonight, the track or the traffic?
A little bit of everything. The track was really racy, but it definitely had its challenges and spots. And the traffic was tough. Everybody was fast, but we had a good enough car we could maneuver around, and we were able to get to the front and hold on to the end.
Matt Shepard doing it again here tonight at Ohsweken.
And there you see the 5 fingers, as that is the way of it right now. Everybody on the Super DIRTcar Series is chasing after that car. But Chad Brockman and Pat Ward, those are good efforts.
Yeah, it really was, especially for Pat Ward to come from back as far as he did. And he was fast late in this race. Also, like we said, Eric Rudolph, very strong. How about Peter Britton, the point leader out at Albany-Saratoga with the top 10?
A lot of movement throughout that top, basically 13 drivers up and down throughout the course of this race. And some of the drivers falling a lap down, 15th on back. As a good race throughout, only 4 cautions in a 75-lap feature. It shows you why these guys are professionals and the best modified drivers you can find. A few drivers falling out like Stuart Friesen and Matt Williamson. Not the results they were looking for. Let's go back down and talk to our late model winner, Phil Potts.
Pretty wild Go Nuclear late model feature here tonight at Ohsweken, and Phil, you managed to hang on to it.
Yeah, I was really surprised we'd be able to do it tonight, but like I said earlier, the track was really good. My car was really good mid. Wasn't really good high, good mid, good low. Track was extremely, extremely fast. I didn't necessarily like that hole going into 3 there, which I found once or twice, but it didn't matter. We were able to come away with it tonight.
Last restart, it looked like you were in full lock over there and 2, just trying to hang on.
Exactly what it was. They got a little anxious and it bounced. Leave it on the hammer and hope it stays. So we got lucky, it did stay. Really got to thank my crew. They put a lot of work this week so I can come play again tonight, and it worked out.
That's Phil Potts, your winner here tonight at Ohsweken.
And in the process, Potts will take over the Go Nuclear Late Model Series points lead, as this is race number 1. Charlie Sandercock, the defending champion, finishes in second for the 3rd straight race here at Ohsweken with the late models. Steve Baldwin on a nice run in 3rd, and then Mike Maresca 4th.
Yeah, very impressed with Mike Maresca. Without a lot of time in these late models to get a top 4 finish. Some guys in here had some bad luck. Dale Caswell, Chris Fleming, too, that jumped right out. They're going to get the tools out after this one.
Yep, drivers that come in from Central New York, and we're expecting much better results as some of the other drivers from New York. Not a really good night for the Central New York drivers. Chad Holman and Sean Beardsley also falling out. Some of the locals, Colton Lettingham and Mark Rayner, also problemsome finishes. So that'll conclude Speedway Showcase for us here in 2017. It's also our final episode here on Spectrum Sports or Time Warner Cable Sports. We've had 10 great years, over 50 episodes. It's been wonderful, Doug.
Yeah, had a couple of different reincarnations of the show along the way, but we're not going anywhere, guys. We'll be back next year.
We'll be back next year in a little bit different form. For Doug Elkins and Paul Small, I'm Rich Fleck. What a night it was here at Ohsweken.